So, remember when I told you that I quit my job in 2018? I ended up starting a company and making podcasts. But something else happened a couple months after I quit. I was invited to host an educational video series. It was supposed to be a documentary style show about the sharing economy. It would only take a week to film the whole thing. And here was the amazing part: the pay was an entire year of my salary. I mean, awesome, right? But there was a catch. The sponsor of the series was a big tech company, one whose ethics I had criticized in my reporting for years. And yet I was so tempted. I mean, this wasn't an ad, it was educational, right? And seriously, that kind of money would mean less time hustling and more time to do my own projects and spend with my kids. Less stress about how I was going to pay for this new life that I had decided to go for. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this project could damage my journalistic integrity, the reputation that I was building my future on. And that was why they were paying so much money for 1 week of work. They were buying my credibility. I spent so much time thinking over this offer, weighing the pros and cons of saying yes or no to taking this gig. All that agonizing was exhausting. And it made me wonder, companies have guidelines. Why don't I have some too? What are my core values? Ones that could guide me and save me time and mental anguish when I need to make hard decisions. To be clear, I kind of hate the term core values. It makes me think of CEOs who inevitably put their quarterly earnings above a list of morals in their corporate mission statements. I mean, remember Google's original rule in its code of conduct? Don't be evil. But maybe we can reclaim this cliched term. Like maybe we can make it more like deciding how to buy groceries. Like, let's say you make an effort to mostly buy organic food at the farmer's market. It's fair to say that you value supporting your local farm, not using pesticides, cooking healthy food at home. When it comes to eating, that's how you choose to spend your time and money. Okay, so what if we apply that same analysis to how we work and live? When I made myself sit down and list my core values, something kind of magical happened. It made decision-making a whole lot easier. And I decided to nail down the criteria for any work that I do by coming up with 5 specifications. Okay, so the work I do must, 1, put a new creative spin on journalism. 2, inform and inspire others. 3, make it possible to compensate my colleagues fairly. 4, be produced with partners who have similar ethics and goals. And 5, support my and my family's health. Sure, look, I get it. These are really broad ideas. But they're a starting point. It's kind of like a map for when I get stuck in the work wilderness. And it makes professional strategizing so much simpler. Rather than ruminate over which projects to pursue and which to politely decline, I can refer to my list because it functions as a kind of decision-making algorithm. I can run an offer through the gauntlet of my 5 values, and if boop, it pops out whole on the other side, I can proceed without hesitation. So, back to that tempting offer that paid a year's salary. It did not make it through the algorithm. I turned down the job. And if you're thinking like, geez, what a goody two-shoes, or enough with the virtue signaling, please understand. If I had debt or was supporting extended family members, I would not hesitate to list high compensation as one of my core values and stick to it. But I've had a lot of luck and privilege in life, and so I felt it was my obligation to decline. And when I called to say no, I gave them my reasons. Hello, worker exploitation, user tracking, industry monopolization, among other things. Did they care? I mean, probably not. But I do. Look, I know my list of values will change and morph as my children get older, as I discover new interests, or I need to take care of my parents. Also, as we know, the economy, pandemics, things beyond our control can force us to change our priorities. But as more and more of us choose to, or are forced to consider ourselves freelancers or entrepreneurs, we have fewer company structures, mentors, or role models to guide us through our careers. And if we want to do work that aligns with our values, It's on us to summarize the principles we want our work to fulfill. It's a relatively easy way to help us find some clarity in this loud and ethically fraught world. So think about it. What are your core values, your rules to work by? We're going to identify and use them to help us whittle down the ideas that you came up with last time. And this is when things start to get really exciting, I promise.